Hi everyone, I'm Cal Spriggs. Today I'm going to show you how my first pewter sand casting went. Pewter casting for about 5 years now, and in that time I've been using it to make props for D&D and models for D&D. I wanted to get into sand casting because previously I've used silicone molds, and that's great for making multiple copies of a single item, but I wanted to try out sand casting for making some D&D props like jewelry, different types of coin, that kind of thing. And it seemed at the time like a way to simplify things a bit. Purchased some casting sand on Amazon. Now this is just some silica mixed with some diatomaceous earth and with water as a medium. There's some oil-based casting sand that's also available. I went with water-based because it seemed like it would be easier to work with in general, and cleanup would be easier. Now with this, I've watched a lot of how-to videos and did a lot of research. One of the important things with this is having a good mold, and B, packing that mold really well with the sand. Now you can see me doing just that. I've got a scraper there to make sure I get the surfaces nice and even, and a rubber mallet to do the packing. I did most of the packing by hand initially, getting it in all the spaces, and then I used the rubber mallet to make sure I had everything packed in there really well. Now later on, you'll see I had some issues. I'm not sure if that's because I packed it too hard or if I didn't pack it well enough. I'll have to keep experimenting and just kind of trying things out. Also there to the side, you can see the different resin coin types that I was trying to use to make the mold. Some of those shapes worked better than others. There were a couple attempts in this one where that it just worked out so badly that I started over, but you can see me doing cleanup. For those of you who've watched some of my other videos, you know how much I love sand, and I managed to get sand all over my garage. As a secondary note, don't normally do this inside. I normally would do pewter casting outside, but it was raining that day, and anyone who has tried working with any kind of liquid metal in the rain, it doesn't work very well in general, and getting water in your molds when you're pouring molten metal is a really bad thing. So I was working inside because I wanted to get this done, and this was my last free day I had for a while. Now I tried doing a resin cast resin brooch and a coin that I 3D printed. Both models I found online and 3D printed the STLs to use for this purpose. You can see me lining stuff up. Already I had sand crumbling, which is a kind of a bad sign, but packed it all down with the mallet, tried to get it as good as I could. I think I had it packed too firmly or not enough moisture content, one or the other. But you can see both molds I had a shape. Unfortunately the brooch one, it started crumbling right away. So again, I'm not sure if not enough moisture or I'd packed it too firmly. I also think I had a little bit too much of the, or not enough, I should say, of the baby powder to act as a barrier to prevent the item from sticking to the sand. So I had chunks of sand still stuck in the brooch, and so I knew I was going to not have a failed casting on that, but I was probably going to lose a lot of detail. So, but the coin came out really well. One of the important things with this is making sure that you get all the little free pieces of sand out. You don't want those getting caught in the metal or hiding some of the detail. Now, normally when I'm doing this kind of thing, I would have the hot pot going. Just a little hot pot I use for melting the pewter. But I wasn't sure if this one was going to work or not, and I didn't want to have a whole lot of molten pewter sitting there waiting on me because it can oxidize. And also, as you can see, I'm doing this on a folding plastic table, so I've got a plate there for the the hot pot so that it doesn't melt the table, but I wanted to avoid a fire hazard as much as possible. An important thing with this is keeping organized, having the right tools for the right tasks. It's very easy to injure yourself, so I recommend iPro gloves when you're working with it. I was not wearing my gloves at this time because I was trying to work with the camera, work with the clamps, and yeah, was just trying to get things done. But definitely recommend iPro because molten metal can pop and spurt, and several 100-degree molten metal in your eye is a bad day. With this, I think I had some impurities in this bit of scrap pewter that I was using. It didn't really want to melt at the normal temperature. It took a lot longer than normal. I know I had a bunch of oxidized pewter down in the bottom, which you'll see me later trying to clean out after I do the pour. One of the reasons I work with pewter, though, is it has such a low melting temperature. I don't need a forge. I don't need open flame or anything. I can do it just in this little hot pot lead melter. And pewter's just really easy to work with. It flows real well, and you normally get a lot of detail when you're working with the silicone molds that I normally use. Because I am working inside, I was doing sort of my ghetto forge. I have these 2 license plates that I was using as a thermal barrier to prevent me from spattering molten metal through my plastic table. Normally outside I use bricks, but the pour went well. I could tell from the amount of material that went in that it probably hadn't gone into the bottom part, which is fine because I knew that bottom broach that I was using was not good. You can see me kind of scraping off some of the oxidized pewter. I'm trying to get all the impurities out so that when I go to do this again, it melts right and everything else. I had just bought these quick release clamps because before I'd been kind of improvising, and they save a lot of time getting off. You can see they came off real quick. Now this is, again, sort of an experiment that I'm doing to try and figure out a way to take several of the STL files that I've designed, 3D print them, and produce molds where I can make a number of these items, both for playing D&D as well as for sort of promotional stuff for a lot of the writing universes that I write in. Once I had the side lamps off, it was a matter of just opening up the mold. You can see the pewter didn't go down in the bottom area. I used a pair of pliers for safety to get this thing out because it was still pretty warm. I didn't really get the level of detail I was looking for. It's kind of flattened detail, and as you can see, it's not great. I went ahead and I did it a few more times using a few of the different molds I had, and then I brought it inside. And one of the things I did to try and kind of bring out the detail I did have was hit it all with a black wash, and this got down into the surfaces and crevices of the surface, and you can see it came out pretty good. These are the 5 coins I made. They're kind of beat up looking overall for the purposes of using them for D&D as props for coins that treasure that the players find. I think they'll work great. I'm pretty happy in general with the experiment. It was trying something new. I don't know that I'll go this route in the future, but I've got the sand, so I might as well use it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.